Hello and welcome to the Knights of Gab-A-Lot. I am Sir Benjamin.
And I am Sir Nick.
And we are here to gab your ears off over whatever we like. And today that is Alien Earth, Episode 4.
Observations. My
Now,
overall observation of this episode is it was actually, at least for me, structurally, the best episode. It wasn't a good episode, but it kept its themes and its plot mostly together. Now that's different from saying I liked what they did, but I mean there's some that are good.
yeah, they tend to have some things that seems to be a running theme, I think, with this show is the some things.
Yeah, I can say this because I'm one of them. It just again, it's just ADHD. Oh, bit of this, bit of that, bit of this, bit of that, and never finishing what they start. Actually, that was incredibly apt. I think. Anyway.
Oh, I just remembered that because the end of our last episode, we talked about talking about the little thing about the timeline that has been bugging me and I keep on forgetting to talk about. Okay, all right. Well, I'll try to keep it as short as we can. Okay, so this is supposed to take place, about 2 years before the original Alien, which is in 2000. I'm just going through my timeline. Thing here. Okay, where are you? That's like 2121, I believe. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh wait. So Alien takes place 2122. This takes place about a year to 2 years prior. So the ship that the Weyland-Yutani research vessel has been gone. Yes, has been gone for 65 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to punch that into my calculator. So 2121 minus 65. That puts us that it launched in 2056. That is a problem because Prometheus takes place in 2093. So according to the numbers they've given us, this ship launched before the Prometheus incident, which also takes place before Weyland and Yutani, two companies, merged into one, Weyland-Yutani.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I've watched Prometheus, so.
Well, Prometheus, it was still just Weyland Corp, I think it was called. And then Alien Covenant is when they were officially Weyland-Yutani. Now, I can't remember when I had years ago done a deep dive into alien lore of like when the merger of Weyland and Yutani, when the merger took place. If I remember correctly, the merger took place like not long after Prometheus, and I think part of it was because Peter Weyland got killed and all that. So we have a timeline discrepancy here. So that bugs me. It bugs me a lot.
Bad one.
It bugs me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it bugs me a whole lot less because Alien Earth has already been tossed into the bin of corporate fanfic and is therefore not canon. There's actually nothing in the show that I consider to be canon at all because, I mean, what you said only cements that more. That was sharp of you. It's been a while since I've seen either Prometheus or Alien Covenant, so.
I've noticed I have a thing for dates, and especially when it comes to prequels, and when years get set, my brain starts being like, okay, does this line up here? Does this line up there? And yeah, when at the beginning of the episode, the very first episode talked about the 65 year, I was already like, wait a minute, and then crunching numbers. Then I thought, okay, maybe maybe this is a thing of like they're contracted for 65 years and they're back before that, you know, timeline is up, and maybe they're supposed to go back, but then based on other dialogue and other stuff throughout the show, it's, oh no, this has been a 65-year journey. It doesn't, doesn't line up, unfortunately.
Well, that's just kind of in line with everything else, isn't it? That's sharp. Do you have anything else? That was good.
No, that's about it. Other than I could, point out other little reasons why that doesn't line up, but that would just be beating a dead horse. So
yeah, that's. Well, speaking of beating a dead horse, let's get to it. Episode opens up with Wendy laying death on a table. Yeah, I guess they turned the volume down on her because at the end of the last episode, she had the chirping and the ticking.
She could hear the Xenos.
Yeah. Well, and I was getting a little OCD about the whole, well, is she psychic? Is she not? I want this explained. I guess in this scene, we kind of see that she's somehow tapped into the frequency of the aliens, which may or may not actually be a psychic connection. To me, it sounds more, more in line with how a dog can hear a dog whistle, but right. That's not a psychic connection. That's an audio connection. Which then I thought, okay, well, at least we're not trying to explain why a hybrid individual with a synthetic brain has a psychic connection with something. But then that also presented immediately another thought. Wait a minute, aren't these scientists? Because if they were real scientists, they'd be looking to duplicate this. Here, Nibs? Well, you're not Nibs. She's a psycho. Bringing one of the, bringing Slightly or Smee or somebody like that, and let's adjust the hertzes and see if we can replicate it. No,
I mean the only bit they had is basically where Boy Cavalier turns to Curly and's like, "Can you hear it?" And she's like, "No," and he's a total, piece of work about it.
Well, I guess okay. So everyone's kind of crowded around Wendy, including Boy Cap. He wants to study her more. Wendy says she feels like the Xenos picked her.
Yes, I noted that too.
And it's like, okay, that's an interesting thought. Why do you think that? I guess she's a child, but I don't know.
Especially considering the thing I find, like with the whole picture thing, she hears it pretty much as soon as they walk onto the crash site. She starts hearing things. It's not like a thing of her, them spotting her or something, or having some kind of an encounter with it. It's no, as soon as she walks on site, she starts hearing things.
Well, yeah, because when everybody else leaves, and then it's just Boy Cavalier and Evil Alfred talking. Evil Alfred, I wrote it down here. He says, he makes this comment, when a hostile alien species chooses to talk, one must ask why. And then Boy Cavalier makes the comment, well, I don't think she's chosen. I think she's just overhearing it. Just happens to be overhearing it, like someone who's eavesdropping, not someone who's chosen. I guess that was smart of them to throw in there. Is okay, but the whole, I don't know. I like Evil Alfred. I think he's one of the better characters in the show, but that's a stupid line. With a hostile alien. Yeah, they can adjust the volume in her head as well to increase it or decrease it. So they find a happy median where she can still hear it. But, which I didn't really have an issue with that idea at all. It just felt like adults in the room were talking very childishly. I just don't get the sense that they're scientists. It's like the scientists in Prometheus gonna take off a mask.
I was about to make the same point too. Yeah, they remind me of those sciences. But I will give at least the scientists in Prometheus seem to actually try to do tests at sometimes, even though some of them are like, "Why would you do it that way?" We could get into a whole discussion about that.
Yeah, I mean, we have some similar issues. Though. I was I was on YouTube, and Tarantino was talking about Prometheus. It had some really stupid stuff in it. You have a xenobiologist who the first time he sees an alien species, oh, what a beautiful flower! I'm just gonna shoot. And then you have the other guy who's the navigator who gets lost.
Yeah, yeah,
And I feel like there is the same level of just stupid. If you're wanting to do the idea concept of science and hubris, like the hubris of that with discovery,
yeah.
that's one thing, because hubris can make us very stupid. These guys are just stupid.
Mhm.
And Joe's very unhappy though, because he can see that his sister is being treated like a lab animal almost.
Yeah.
Things get all tense. The adults in the room start arguing. He goes, Wendy, do you want to show me your room? I mean, I guess I've heard of worse sideways.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's a lot that Joe does that I'm just like, why are you even here?
I'm not going to get into why.
Yeah. We could.
I'm done. I'm done with that.
I don't know. I don't know if you'd call it a sciencey thing, but like where a boy Cavalier or someone asks Wendy to see if she can try to replicate the sounds that she hears.
Oh, that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she does it first try. Our adorable little Mary Sue. First try.
She's perfect, man. She's perfect.
I mean, boy Cavalier definitely has a bit of I was about to say a hard on, but let's use a different word. No, he definitely is a total hard on for the idea of, oh, we're going to communicate with them now. How? They don't have an alphabet. I don't think you could learn to communicate with them any more than we could learn to communicate with our friends.
Yeah. Just replicating sounds does not constitute a language. Yeah. I mean,
Would you like when? Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, there's also suspension of disbelief. Like, I think if this was a far better written show, I would be liable to forgive, those kind of things of like, oh, just imitate the sounds, and then you suddenly figure out how to communicate. I mean, there's some scenes later on that with her. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, overall, it's.
I agree. I do like once. Here's a positive thing. It was just a fun little detail. So Joe and Wendy go to her room, and she's showing him the room, and she says, "Do you like my bed?" And you look at the bed. Well, it's actually, I don't sleep. It's more like a charging station.
Oh yeah,
I like that. Actually, I thought that was fun. Which actually, a charging station. Do any of the synths like Bishop or Ash, did they need a charging station?
Not that we were shown. Not that we were ever shown. They also consumed actual food, including David. Of course, these are hybrids, so also different system because this is Prodigy and David was a product of Wayland core, and then Ash was created by Wayland Yutani, so probably using different systems.
I guess I'll let that one go. Wouldn't that be wild if we had a show which included Morrow, Kersh, and Michael Fassbender as David? Because for all the, I mean, I like Alien Covenant. It was a very flawed film, but it was good slattery fun.
Yeah.
David is just, I think he would have helped to elevate the show a bit. But I'm glad he dodged that bullet. Anyway, that's an aside. After the charging station, we have a really important scene.
The one with Morrow and Slightly?
No, it's right before that. It's super important because the show needs to remind you of its themes. Boy Cavalier is reading Peter Pan again.
Oh, of course. I forgot about that.
That's it. Just
All right.
gotta.
Wasn't that the part where he's reading about the island about Neverland actually being creepier than Wendy and the Lost Boys her and her brothers really noticed before, and it's starting to get creepier, as if the show is starting to get creepier? I think that may have been the part.
Honestly, I was editing the video on my phone and I completely zoned out. I was like, oh gosh, this douchebag's reading again. Good. Awesome. Fun.
Okay. All right. So moving on, we got Slightly is talking with Mr. Morrow, one of our favorite characters. And Mr. Morrow is trying to convince Slightly to steal a Xeno egg for him.
Morrow's acting a little. He's essentially grooming Slightly. Not obviously in that other way, but he's clearly being predatory in a different sense.
Yeah.
And I don't really care for Slightly's character at all. I think he's annoying. He's really annoying, and he's clumsily written. But I like these interactions.
Yes, these interactions are I wouldn't say they make slightly interesting, but the interactions are interesting, and he's there. He fulfills that role. I think I dislike him less than you. I definitely dislike what's his name? Smee, his buddy, is even more annoying.
He can't act. At least Slightly can.
Yes.
But this other is acting is he's not in his A game.
No. And we'll get other examples of that later. I thought it was a nice little key takeaway was that Morrow kind of gets him to get Slightly to reveal his real name.
Yeah, that worked nice. That worked nice in that scene.
It did. My last note is Slightly then finds Kersh in his room.
Oh yeah, and then there's the whole hear no evil, see no evil, think no evil.
Yeah, the monkey,
the three monkeys on the
see, hear, and speak. That's what it was. Yeah, see, hear, and speak. And they had that kind of exchange.
Yeah, even after the second time listening to it, I came away from it feeling like it didn't serve the purpose that it was needed, and it was kind of a useless scene.
Yeah,
it felt like it was supposed to, that it was supposed to be cool. You had this famous kind of picture. You could take that scene out, and it would not affect the episode one bit.
No, I think maybe part of what it was put there for is to kind of give the idea that Kersh knows a bit more of what's going on than one would think. I don't know. It like you said, it could have been taken out. Like Kersh, obviously seems to know that something is up with Smee. Like, he's watched, some of the footage of the interactions on the ship and whatnot. So I think it's supposed to indicate that he knows that something's going on. But I think if that scene happened later on, I think it would have made more sense and have, I think, served better impact. Because then Kersh would have had more time to observe Smee and get the vibe that things are not right with him and that he could be a spy kind of thing. This happened. I think it happens just too early and would have worked better later on in the show.
Yeah. And actually, now that I remember it too, there is a conversation about loyalty as well. It was really clumsily written, but now that I remember it, I don't think the scene could have been eliminated, but it should have been moved. I think you're right. But we do see later that Kersh is observing his conversations and can actually hear Morrow.
He could. Oh, right. He could hear Morrow. I forgot he could hear Morrow.
I might be skipping ahead because there's a second conversation that Slightly has with Morrow. Turns out that Kersh can hear both ends. Yeah. I'm jumping. That was me jumping ahead. Though.
Okay. Yeah, we should avoid that. Now we get a little bit more fun. We go to the secure lab, and they're playing around with that eye. So
This
I,
secure lab.
let's not go into that just yet.
Where's
We
the
can.
guards? It's okay. Shut
Oh,
up,
we
Nick.
we can rant about the issues with how secure this lab is later on. We'll have there's so much more we could talk about with that later on. All right, so we have the eye is allowed to implant itself in a sheep's head.
What did you think of this scene where the eyeballs implanting itself? Because we get like a CGI sheep, we get this pretty gruesome, what did you think of that?
I thought it was fine. I thought it served its purpose. I mean, I actually had expected this eye to have like consumed the host's eye and then implanted itself in the head, not just pop the eye out, pop in.
Replace it.
But that's not, I wouldn't call that a detriment. That was just, my own kind of expectation. I don't think I didn't really have a problem with the scene. I thought it was kind of, it was interesting when you got, Morrow is, no, sorry, not Morrow. Kersh is, of course, observing the scanners on the brain activity within the sheep. And yeah, it's even saying that this creature is highly intelligent based on showing a high increase in problem solving activity and stuff like that. And thought, that's,
Yeah.
I didn't really see a problem with it. I was intrigued. I was actually, I was looking forward to seeing more of where things went with the eye. And
I think in general I liked this scene, but remember so the eyeball removes the sheep's eye and takes up residence, and then the sheep stands up on its hind legs, and on the one hand it looked so silly and yet unsettling. That was just a very weird visual look because it almost looked cartoonish, but yeah, it was unsettling, which I think is that's a decent goal. I'll give,
yes,
you know what? I'm going to give that one a plus. I think the eyeball sheep is another one of my favorite. It has more personality, has more believable personality, and than most of the talking. I cared about the eyeball more than low sperm count, for instance.
oh yeah, definitely far more interesting. Okay, so now we go to the lab with the hybrid labs, and we got the two main doctors, and I forgot the name of the husband.
I think his name is Phil. I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, actually,
Low sperm LSC. We'll write him down as LSD.
anyway, yeah, Dr. Low Sperm Count is expressing worry about protocols and proper tests not being done with the kids, which thank you somebody for pointing out the idiocy of this facility.
It's about time. It's about time. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say that like it annoys me that he's one of the scientist tech people and he's kind of as dumb, but he does think about at least the more common sense thing. Like that these are kids, these are children. I guess I feel like he does a decent job of bringing in that. I find dumb Sylvia to be a little inconsistent because when she's with the kids, she's very maternal. But when she's talking with her husband, uh, she's definitely more with the program than he is. So that's either an inconsistency in her character or it's just her different faces for different jobs.
Yeah,
When she's with the children, she's mama bear. When she's not, yeah. And this is where Nibs shows up and gives us some happy news.
I'm pregnant.
You can't, says low sperm count. You're a machine. I'm not a machine. Yes, of course, darling, you're not a machine. He didn't mean that. Come, let's go talk. I actually think that this was a good move as far as dealing with crazy person. Takes her to her office. We're gonna have some talky talk. What was it that set her off? They're talking about the birds and the bee. Oh, before we get to that part, Sylia admits what I've been complaining about since day one. You're nodding your head.
I think I remember which it was. Please refresh, because I was like, I couldn't remember if it was this conversation or if it was a different conversation that she's having.
She says she admits what we were talking about from the start. They never talked about their new bodies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They never talked with the kids about their new bodies. And I just wrote facepalm. Like, you idiots. It would have been so much better if the show did not let us know.
There's so many times in this show that they point out their own stupidity. And it's not like oh shoot, we messed this up. Okay, let's correct this. It's just like, hey, we did something stupid. Yeah, we did something stupid. Shall we continue doing something stupid? Yeah, let's keep doing something stupid.
We talked a whole lot about that. Just how do you miss that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go off on another OCD tirade.
I think, well, with that, what bugs me about it is not just that they point out the stupid ideas, but sorry, that they didn't, do certain things and whatnot with when it comes to testing and whatnot. But it also highlights like what was interesting in that part. And and to kind of elaborate on that is like I really thought this whole thing with um Dr. Sylvia talking with Nibs and just this whole thing dealing with her saying that she's pregnant. I was like, oh man, this is interesting. We're talking about this could get into the whole thing of going from biological to mechanical and the whole transference, and there's just so much that could be done with that. And I was like, oh man, this is good. This is really good. Let's go with it. Yeah, and going into different places. And so I think that's part of what bugs me is when they point out their stupidity, they show something that could be really interesting, and then nothing.
And then they go no further with it.
Mhm.
Instead, she's just talking about the birds and the bees, and and the Nib says, "Oh, I know all about that. I grew up on a farm." Oh, you do know about that. Oh, very good, very good. And then she makes like a hard left turn. Let's talk about your traumatic event with the eyeball. I don't want to talk about that. So, okay, fair enough. And she keeps on talking until finally, I guess Nibs doesn't attack her, but puts hands on her. I mean, you could see that in this day and age, if you were to do that to somebody, that could be assault. So sure, attacked her, made her fear for her life. Oh, sweetie, uh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. I'll put on some tea.
I mean, I think she did handle it well.
I think she did, yeah. It would have been nice if she had shown a brain in the first half of the conversation.
Yeah, by not pushing.
Not necessarily that, just the
Mm.
whole, I guess we haven't talked about your bodies. I'm still not over that.
Fair. Yeah, we could kind of talk a little bit about the whole thing. Again, it brings up the whole I missed opportunities to discuss, taking kids who are pre-pubescent to suddenly being in post-pubescent bodies and trying to simulate puberty with their brains and in their robotic brains now. And yeah, there's so much there. Like now I may have misheard some dialogue or something, but it almost sounded like they alluded to there having been some kind of trauma in Nib's past before she was her when she was human or biological, put it that way.
I might have missed that.
Okay, I may have been reading into some of the things that were said. I think probably what happened is she's referring to the traumatic event, with the eyeball, and I was automatically thinking about, oh, further back in her past was the traumatic event kind of thing was what I was going with because Alien, the franchise, especially the first two films, assault is a prevalent theme in there.
You're talking about SA.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I thought, because she's saying like, oh, I'm pregnant. And I thought like, oh shoot, is this like a suppressed memory of an essay from her past? And that the
Okay.
eyeball attack is bringing back those memories. And because of her, knowing how biology works from living on a farm, it added these. So that's what I thought was where they were going. I was like, this just went dark and deep really fast. Good job. That's what I was thinking at first.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
I know.
Yeah, no, it didn't go in that direction at all.
Mhm.
Yeah, so she's getting flashback as Dr. Sockner puts hands on her and then tea, and then that's actually really all that happens that I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, then she calls security, has them escort Nibs back to her room, and then
She Nibs gets taken out by the security. I think she
Mhm.
had a silent alarm,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
and she says, "We have a level 3 event." What's what is that? What's a level 3 event?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to know, is it just, we have, is it just we have a malfunction, or is it specific? We have a psychological break. It'd be nice to know. I don't know. Maybe I'm asking too much.
It was dialogue like that that got me onto the idea of like, oh, they're gonna start discussing deeper psychology and whatnot with the human to robotic minds kind of thing.
You know,
That's where I thought the show was going.
I really wish that they had done that. Really, they had there's still there's a good show buried in here somewhere.
Mhm. It really
Uh,
is.
and
Especially considering the next scene. Did you have anything else to add?
no, that's it.
Considering the next scene is Joe is being asked to be part of testing if Wendy's transfer from human body to synth body was truly a success. Again, they're hinting at the whole possible issues that could occur and everything. They're hinting at like you said, there is a good show buried in here.
Which is the infuriating part. Is this the
Mhm.
conversation between evil Alfred and Joe?
I believe so.
Yeah. I guess in this scene, evil Alfred threatens Joe, says there's no world where you get to have your sister come back with you. No, by the way, you have a prodigy love. So if you leave, we're going to have to take our property back. It's either take it back or you're going to pay out the nose for it. You know what would have actually been really funny is if he had not just pay out the nose, but you need to pay a lifelong subscription.
It's Disney Plus. They're not going to draw attention to.
Yeah, and that's the scene. I
Yep.
think. Was there
Yeah.
anything else?
Nope. That other than it has those little things that drop breadcrumbs and sometimes link with other things that are interesting and have a good interesting show buried in there. And then we get Wendy meeting with Boy Cavalier and him wanting to get her to try to communicate with the aliens, figure out what they're saying.
I feel like this is definitely a redundancy. The only purpose of this scene was so Boy Cavalier could have this line. Do you remember this line?
Was it the one oh the was it like fighting aliens or Indians or pirates?
He was, oh yeah, like, yeah,
I
he
think
was a
so.
person heard some cowboys or some aliens or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember. And he goes, "This is you. You fought the crocodile, and now you can hear it tick."
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I was like, this is probably the line he's talking about. Yes. Like,
The only point of this scene was to remind us once again that we're stupid and need to be reminded that there's a Peter Pan beat. That's how I felt about this scene. That might be uncharitable. That was my takeaway. I didn't. Was there anything else in this scene? I don't remember.
No, other than Wendy saying she thinks that the aliens should be sent back to Wayland-Yutani. But
She did, didn't she? Yeah.
I mean, she has dumber takes later on, the when she starts. I mean, I should stop foreshadowing and just focus on each individual episode. Sorry, I keep on breaking my rules.
Beware, viewer.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing. Oh, yes. We have a name change.
Ah, yes. In the next scene in the secure lab.
The super duper secure lab. It's really secure. I don't remember what this is. This is like the black kid with
Yeah.
the curly hair.
Toodles. Toodles.
Toodles. That's right. Um, you know, I actually don't hate his character. Out of all
No.
the Lost Boys, I think he was fine actually. He made some choices later, but we'll talk about that later. But I thought he was decent, but this was a very long scene in which he basically just asks Kersh if he can change his name to Isaac.
Yes.
Isaac Newton. I don't remember anything else of important happening. Actually, there was nothing of important. The plot literally does not change at all.
I don't know. I think it was partially running time and also to kind of set a transition to the next scene, which easily you could have just cut directly to it where Slightly is talking
Morrow.
with Morrow and Kersh is listening in on the computer connect wirelessly whatever to
Yeah.
monitoring Slightly.
Before that, Slightly makes his first attempt at a lab death.
You're right. So I get yeah.
Promises Toodles / Isaac Toodles.
Mhm.
And I don't know, Isaac invites him to something and Slightly says, actually, no, I think I need to be by myself or something. And that's it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there's the scene with Morrow and Slightly as they Skype each other in their heads.
Yes. And we find that Morrow has the reason why Mr. Morrow wanted to find out Slightly's true name was just so he could find leverage on him, specifically his mother. Which I will say I liked that it wasn't the stereotypical scene of the bad guy calls the person he's manipulating and be like, "Hey, I've got your mom here. She's tied up to this chair. Here, do you would like to talk to her? Oh, please, honey, do whatever he says."
Yeah,
I'm glad they didn't go that
there,
route.
there was a language. I felt like this scene was already bordering on mustache twirling. Just it was really edging up to that fence. So if they did what you just described, that would have been
Yeah. Yeah. Like I like that his mom doesn't seem to quite realize that something nefarious is happening. And I don't know, I like that.
yeah, there's a bit of a language barrier going on. The thing I did not like about the scene, just maybe it makes sense and I'm just not thinking, but she's able to speak and then Slightly can hear. She says, Arush, I love you very much. And so she's speaking basically into Morrow's ear and then Slightly can hear it, which would make sense if Morrow wasn't a cyborg.
What do you mean?
So maybe it does make sense that he's a cyborg because he does put electrodes in his head.
Mhm.
I don't know. Science fiction.
And this is where we get the continuation of the plan where Morrow is telling him to just get someone someone to the lab and get them close to the eggs.
Yes. Change of plan. Don't take an egg out. Bring somebody in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a note it says specifically in my notes, I may have written this wrong, but so get them in front of in front of the egg and to bring them to him once the face hugger has fallen off. Why specifically once the face hugger has fallen off? It's just like little it's You know me, there's sometimes like little detail. I fixate on little details, and that one was like, why this specific detail? Minor nitpick. Kind of,
Yeah,
it's. I think it's kind of dumb. Whatever. He has 24 hours to make this happen.
24 hours, which is really interesting that he knows that timeline because it's never just 24 hours.
Oh, I think the 24 hours was to tell him to like get let me know within 24 hours that you've got this done. I don't think he was referring to you have 24 hours gestation.
Gestation.
Yeah.
Just gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Which I will give for this show. They actually seem to try to follow a similar gestation period of the first Alien movie, whereas so many of the other movies there's like a sliding scale of gestation period. I mean, let's not get onto Alien Covenant where gestation pretty much takes place in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but that was a different
Yeah, I guess we could. Anyway, well, that's a whole other.
species, but
Yeah,
in Alien Romulus, they really, really played with the whole instant. You haven't seen Romulus yet,
I have
have you?
not. I have not. Yeah.
I think it's worth watching.
Okay.
It has a lot of problems, but it's worth watching.
Okay. I'll give it a shot
It
sometime.
has its moments. It is leaps and bounds better than this show. Not a high bar.
Speaking of not a high bar, the next scene talking about some world building. Unless you have something to add to the Morrow.
No, are you talking about when Joe's giving the exposition on the 5 companies?
Yes, we go to Joe hang out with the kids, and they're asking about the five corporations that run everything.
The five. Yep. So we get more exposition on all of this. Just as interesting as the first time.
And we learn nothing.
And not that it isn't interesting world building background, it's just not explored and it's delivered in the most bone dry way possible.
Please give a demonstration.
I think I zoned out during this one too. It was still editing a video. That like, oh, it's this dumb conversation. I can tune out for moments.
Well, okay. Basically, the key things that I got from it was that five companies just decided to take over. That oh yeah, he describes it as this is how things used to work. We used to vote people in and vote our government in, and then they decided they're not going to do that anymore, and so they decided to have these five companies run everything. Basically, is a rough thing of what he said, which
Wow, I missed all of that.
it was really like. Yeah, I think what got me was just like, so they just decided that they're not going to do it that way. That it, I mean, sure, but
Just decided. Who
yeah,
just decided? Who went along with it? And
yeah,
why?
yeah. Like when you're talking planet wide.
But after this, we do kind of get a little bit of drama. I mean, like most of the drama, it sort of, because it doesn't get resolved, but it doesn't, it's not given enough time in the oven to cook.
Yeah,
Slightly returns to the table. He looks at Joe. Why
yeah,
is he here? You know,
yeah.
he's my brother, says Wendy. And Slightly says, well, I'd like my brother to be here too, but he can't be. And then Joe very kindly actually says, you're right. Your brother should be here. It was decent. The only thing that scene did though, well, not the only thing, but Slightly then was able to kind of target who he wants. It's like, oh, I wonder who he's gonna bring into the light. I think that's about that for that scene.
Yeah, I mean, I could go
And
into. We'll talk about the Colonial Marines and debates about that later on, about how that works in this world. But anyway,
yeah, it probably doesn't.
but how it's called it's technically called the United States Colonial Marine Corps. Um, which is technically supposed to be independent of Weyland-Yutani. Yes, they use Weyland-Yutani tech and contracts, but it's supposed to be independent. Which, how does that work when the whole planet is run by companies? Again, not lining up.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I hadn't thought of that. That's a really good point.
I'm trying not to let those little things like that bug me, but it's just
Good to point them out.
it's yeah, it's things with world building that kind of get me, and I don't want to get too political with this, but sometimes I wonder if, like, the idea of the world being run by corporations, sure, whatever, that's fine. But A, it doesn't line up with the rest of the timeline, and B, it felt a bit too much like the writers were putting in their own fears of capitalism and whatever we are in right now, and basically that, like, well, capitalists will take over the world, and this is where it's going to eventually go. That is what it just seemed that way. I could be reading into it, but I don't know. It just seemed that was their fears.
There might be. I mean, there is not an anti-capitalistic thread throughout the Alien films, but kind of an anti-over-corporatization.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
I mean, capitalism has its dark side, and the film explores that dark side. Um, I was watching Jimmy Carr, the comedian, was doing a show, and someone was blurted something out about communism, and he's like, I don't like communism very much. I'm a capitalist, thank you very much. And then they said something unpleasant about capitalism. He says, well, capitalism is the worst form of government, except for all the others. And
Which technically capitalism. Oh, sorry. I was like, capitalism isn't a form of government. Capitalism is an economic.
sorry.
I'm sorry. me and words.
Correct. I messed up. But yeah, it's the worst one, except for all the others. It's like communism, great on paper, wrong species.
I was just gonna say, it was a slight aside of, like, I haven't finished reading the whole series, but if you want a good, interesting comic series done by Greg Rucka called Lazarus, that basically it's a world, yes, run by, where the world is divvied up by different corporations, and so the lines are less national and more economical, and it's really interesting. But anyway, where people are divided between serfs and waste.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really interesting.
Interesting.
So this reminded me a bit of that, and I was like, oh, interesting.
Okay.
So,
interesting. Gotcha.
Yeah, I
It
haven't.
sounds good.
Yeah, it is. It is quite good. Haven't finished reading all of it, but it's good. So
Gotcha. The next scene we have is Wendy in the lab, and she's communicating with the Xeno in the lung, which actually got me thinking. This isn't a criticism. This is just genuine curiosity. So they have a Xeno gestating in the lung. Usually, though, it's gestating in the esophagus. Isn't that right?
I'm not sure actually. I haven't done that much looking into that aspect of the alien biology.
Yeah, it just got me thinking what the Xeno actually needs in order to, because obviously as it's gestating, it's drawing nutrients and it's, anyway, it just got me thinking, does it need to be location specific in the body, or does it not matter? So anyway.
Yeah.
And then we get a cut. So she's chirping along with it or whatever. And then we get a cut to Slightly, who's creeping outside Joe's window
Oh yes.
in the rain.
He just needs a hockey mask and a machete now.
Yeah, or at the very least, yes.
Yes, hair over the eyes.
That would have fixed it right there. And then we get a shot back to Wendy in the laboratory, and she's still chirping along. And then the Xeno bursts out of the lung, bursts out of the glass container that it's in, shatters everything, and ends up on the table. And she snake charms it. I hated this the first time I watched it, and I thought, let's have a look at it again. Let's try to find some positive. The only positive I could find is the design looked good. Did a good job with the CGI. Good job. She's snake charming it. And then this really bugged me. Is the Xeno, I don't need to know. I don't think of the Xeno as something that needs or desires affection. So as she's snake charming it, she puts out her fingers and it nuzzles her hand. And that did not work for me. That's not something that I feel like I needed from Alien, was for the alien to become a dog. I love dogs. Xenos are not dogs.
They're a parasite. They're a parasite.
Really, they're a parasite. They're a friggin' parasite. They, I don't know. What about you? Am I getting...
I don't know. I don't think it bugged me as much. I mean, I think, I don't know. It was just kind of, I was just kind of about the scene, really. Yeah, the nuzzling was kind of like, this is silly. But
well, pretty sure creatures don't nuzzle unless they have affection based in their biology.
Yeah.
Humans nuzzle, dogs nuzzle, even cats will nuzzle. But the xenomorph?
Just another example of them trying to, we'll see how it goes with it. It's like, we're trying to make this thing sympathetic.
I had a feeling they were going to do that because it's Disney.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to turn the Xeno into a dog.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that we get it. Poor Xeno, just getting the character assassinated left and right. And then that's the end of the episode. We get another trendy music outro, and
yeah, I got nothing to add. They had some good ideas, and that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, at least it was definitely better than episode 3. Episode 3 felt like a really empty episode. Not enough that you could take it out and it wouldn't matter, but it felt pretty close to being a filler. Yeah, well, that's the episode, and
yep.
The next episode we'll get to that next week.
We'll get to that next week. Yeah. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on this little ride, and we will see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in. You can find more from Sir Nick by searching Great Tradition on YouTube. You can also find me there by searching Classy Chappy. If we name dropped anyone during the show, be sure to check them out and leave them a comment saying that Classy Chappy sent you. The intro music was by Kevin MacLeod, incomtech.com, used under Creative Commons 4.0. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.